All right, let's continue to do another exercises of analytical geometry. These are the very simple question. Okay, so what we will do here, we have to look at this question. Let's look at first the statement. Okay, looking at the statement. All right, this is a statement. Okay, so when we're looking at the statement, we'll see that from this statement they give us this is a rectangle. Okay, the rectangle, the diagonal of the rectangle at M intersect at M. So diagonal in a rectangle have the same distance, so this distance will be equal to this one. Okay, the distance dB is equal to DC because of the diagonal. All right, M is the midpoint, so the angle of a triangle is a rectangle are now 90 degrees. Okay, so now let's go to the question. They say coordinates of M. So when they say coordinate of M, what do? You go to the statement or you look at, they say the diagonal intersected M, meaning that M should be the midpoint. Midpoint of what? Of a DB or BD or AC. Now you go to check your midpoint formula 3.1. The midpoint it will be a midpoint of what? AC. So midpoint goes to x1 plus x2. You divide by 2. Then y1 plus y2 divide by 2. So we're looking at this point now. So you will say M. So let's say M will be, you take minus 6, minus 7 plus 6 will be minus 1 divided by 2. 2 plus 3 will be 5 divided by 2. So that is the point M. Okay, now 3.2. They say write down the gradient of BC in terms of P. So you have the point, you look at BC, which line is BC? BC, there is BC. So you don't have a coordinate of B, but you have a coordinate of F. So this is they call the points here, they are collinear. Collinear meaning that the points on the same line. So those points on the same line have same gradient. So meaning that the gradient of BC is equal to the gradient of FC. Okay, so you can use these 2 points. That is why they say you in terms of a P. So you write down the formula first. Equal y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So what is your coordinate? You take C with 6 and a 3, and then you use F with P to 0. Okay, so M of BC will be 3 minus 0, which will be 3, and then we have 6 minus P. Alright, so MBC will be 3 divided by 6 minus P. Alright, so that is the gradient of a BC. So now there we go have a 3.3 here, okay? Sorry, 3.3 say once you have it, or hence you have it, calculate the value of a P. Now, what is in your mind? How to calculate the value of P? So, okay, you'll say, okay, why they give us this? So, the line, the straight line AD, it's represented by 2x plus 16, which is a parallel to the line BC. Okay? Parallel to the line BC. Okay? So the line DC, AD, it's parallel to the line BC. So meaning that the gradient of AD, which is 2, is equal to 3/6 minus P. So gradient is this because the straight line is written by like this. So the gradient is anything that is linked to x. Let's cross multiply here. What will be the answer? Would be 12 minus 2p equal to what? 3. So when you transpose here, we have a 15 equal to 2p. So p will be equal to 15/2. Okay. So we have the value of p. Now, 3.4 it says calculate the length of what? dB. What is dB? dB is a diagonal, okay? Meaning that dB as a diagonal is equal to the length of AC. So dB will be square root here. There we go. 6 minus 7, because the formula, let me do this, let me write down first the formula will be x2 minus x1 all squared, and y2 minus y1 all what? Squared. Okay, so dB, you use the coordinates of AC because they are equal. So the distance there is equal to AC, so which will be x2 6 minus of the formula, which minus 7 will be plus 7 all squared, and the y2, what is y2, is going to be 3 minus y1, which is 1. So after calculation, this will be 13. This will be 13 squared. 13 squared, I think it will be 169. So here will be 170. Let me see. 13 squared plus 1 is what? 170. So 70. So square root of 170 still the same. So you don't use decimal, you leave it just like that. Okay, now let's move to the next question. The next question says let's find the size of alpha. Okay, very good. Let me clean this. What is the size? The size of alpha. Remember, this line is parallel here, which means this angle, which gives us the gradient. Because remember, tangent alpha is equal to the gradient. Okay, so remember, gradient over BC is equal to the gradient of what? Over AD. So tangent alpha will be equal to the gradient over AD, which is 2. So by using your calculator, you shift your calculator, this will give you 6,4 degrees. Okay, so that is the alpha, the whatever, let's say the gradient of what the gradient, the angle alpha. Okay, we use this gradient because they are equal. Now 3.6, this is 3.5. I want you to look at 3.6. Oh yeah, 3.5 at 3.6, and the 3.7, I think you can do it yourself. Now look at here. I want us to look at one thing here. Okay, this question, it need me to do this. All right, I want you to look at here. Look at what I'm going to do. So when you look at this, first of all, oh yes, let me draw this thing. I need to use blue. Yeah, it's a dark blue, a light blue. Okay, coming to this place. Okay, let me draw this line. And there we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Then we can draw again here. Watch this, what I'm doing carefully, because I have only my reference there is the angle alpha. Okay, so my reference is I have angle alpha. So I have angle alpha. Yeah, it's okay. Let me go there. So when I draw this line, okay, then we move here. Then we draw this. If you look at this carefully, I want you to look at the angle. Carefully here, look at our angles here. This is a rectangle, okay? This angle is 90 degrees. This one is 90 degrees. This one is 90 degrees. This one is what? 90 degrees. Can you see? So in this, it look like a cyclic quadrilateral, but we are not sure it's not cyclic. Okay, this is the 90 degrees. What about this angle? This is also 90 degrees because we have a y-axis and the x-axis. They make the angle of 90 degrees. So anything that have 4 corners, the addition, if you add the opposite angle, will give you 180. 90 degrees plus 90 degrees, 180. So if we have this angle 63, what will be this angle now? Okay, these two angles will be opposite angle. When you have this angle is equal to this. So this is also alpha. Okay, so these two angles should give you 180 degrees. Okay, the opposite angle should give you 180 degrees. So what do we say here? We say the angle OGB will be equal to 180 minus 63,4 degrees. So the S will give you, let me shift the calculator, shifting tangent to, okay, so if we say 180 minus 63,4, S will give you equal to 116,6 degrees. Okay, so yeah, that is why if you write this, they give you 3 marks. Now that was 3.6. Now 3.7, and I don't know this question. Let's see. Determine the equation of a circle passing by that circle. They say he helped to pass. When can I get a circle? They say the circle pass through this point. Let me see. No, not this one. All right. They say the circle passing through this point. Okay. Can you see? That's what will be the circle. Okay. So because this is a rectangle, very important, as this is a rectangle, you see when you draw, because the rectangle is correct, so I try to draw a circle. Can you see? Gives me exactly touch the 4 corners. Meaning that when you have a rectangle, if you have that pass by that point, oh sorry, let me close it. Yeah, now it's working. If you have the circle that pass by this point, that point, that point, and that point, obviously will touch the 4 corners. Okay, we touch the 4 corners, meaning that M will be a midpoint, a center. So the center of this circle will be, it was what again? Minus 1/2 and the 5/2. Okay, that is the center. So what is the radius? The radius will be the distance from here up to there. Okay, but we already found the distance. Okay, so that distance was the distance, remember the distance dB is equal to AC, which was the square root of 170. Is that clear? So meaning that, because this is equal to the distance dB, if you can check. So meaning that the distance of a midpoint and here will be equal. So here will be the middle. So what is the distance Now we need the radius. The radius will be half of this, so will be AM also equal to what? AC divided by 2, so it will be square root of 170 divided by what? 2. Now let's do now the equation will be x minus 1 over 2, so it will be 1 over 2 all squared plus y minus b, which is minus 5 over 2 all squared, and the r squared, what is the r squared, will be square root of this, okay? All will be squared. Can you see? So we'll say, let me just write it because some of you get lost, all squared like this, okay? So we have x plus 1 over 2 all squared, y 5 over 2 all squared, plus 170 over 4. Done. Thank you.